Good afternoon, Talk Badminton fans. It is Monday, the 5th of April, Easter Monday. And today I'm joined by Elaine Fitzgibbon. How are you?
Good evening.
Good after. Is it good evening? Is it evening at 5? I'm not sure. It's 25 past 25 to 5. It feels like the evening, doesn't it?
It does.
Have
It's a
you
long
have
day.
you been working today, or what do you do?
No, it's bank. It's a bank holiday
Do
here.
you work in? Where are you actually?
Where am I?
Yes.
I'm in my son's house because we're at a barbecue.
Oh, nice. That's the way forward, isn't it? For and
Yeah.
how is it? How is restrictions and all that stuff in Ireland now at the moment?
Still really strict. 5K, can't go outside your 5K. No house parties, no pubs, no restaurants, nothing.
Where where
Hairdressers.
about are you in Ireland?
Adair in Limerick.
Darren, that right? I was talking to a friend in who's in London, a client in London. He said that one of his colleagues had cycled into the office in central London. He's off Baker Street, and he says he cycled in and he went past loads of pubs with Christmas decorations in the window and balloons. It's like
Yeah.
literally it's like Christmas. How mad
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah. A lot of the shops here, they still have their decorations
How
in the
fun.
windows.
See, where
Yeah.
I am is a small town in Peebles, and there are people there are people who most of the shop owners have been in, right? They've been in and cleaned up the place and cleaned the window out, and the windows. I don't know. Yeah, is it quite a big town there, or what's it like?
No, it's only a small town. Don't ask me the population, but it's
But small enough. Okay, let's go.
it
Let's go
is.
on with some questions. Okay, so let's have your
Okay.
full name.
Elaine Marie Fitzgibbon.
Ah, Marie. Where's I was thinking actually the other day. I think you're my third lady I've had on.
I'm honoured.
You're honoured. I had Aileen Travers was on, and
Yeah,
Julie Hogg,
right.
and you are number three. So
I played Julie, about 10 years ago in a vets
did
tournament.
you in Ireland or
Yeah, first
Scotland?
one, Ireland. It was the first one back that I played, that I ever went back playing badminton, and she was playing with her sister.
Karen,
So yeah, we played ladies
how
doubles.
was that? So had you played together years
Exhausting.
ago? Growing up, had you played
I
together?
had, yeah, I hadn't played for about 15 years.
Really?
Yeah, so it was exhausting.
I had a bit of that. I had a kind of a stop between 20 and 30. I think I stopped, and then I started to play locally where I am, and the stand up was okay, but I found myself getting frustrated, and yeah, I was getting frustrated, and because I thought I used to be good, and then when I went back locally, I would get an odd decent game. And I think I came back for kind of a year or two, and then I thought, do you know, it's actually frustrating me more than anything, and I stopped
Yeah,
again, and then I found a club that was really competitive, and I thought. And then I loved it again. Now I love it again because every game was
yeah.
amazing. And what's the standard of play like in Adore,
There is no club.
doesn't it?
So no, there's a club and there's a couple of clubs around the
Yes.
county, but there's nothing here anymore. There used to be three clubs,
Really?
but there's nothing here now.
Wow. And
So
what brought you back to it, Elaine?
my brother Connor, he was organising vets tournaments, and himself and Lyndon Williams
Yes.
used to run it like a triangular in May.
Yes.
So it was always in Dublin. So when I turned
Yeah.
40, he said to me, would I be interested in playing? So I foolishly said no problem.
Did you enjoy it? And did it all come rushing back, or what was that
Um,
like?
no, I did enjoy that. But as it just went on, no, no, I sort of gave up then
Did
again.
you?
And then Holly Lane and myself decided we'd dip back in again. And oh no, we couldn't take being beaten.
Really? You still feel so competitive? Like you still feel,
Yeah,
do you?
yeah.
And have you still you've got family that
So
plays as well, Elaine? I think
I
Gary
do.
sent me a message that you have family that plays, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do. My dad was a senior international,
Right.
and Then my mum played, and my 3 siblings played.
Really? And have you always been from Madeira?
No, Dublin.
Or were you? I was hearing,
Yeah.
I had a chat with quite a lot of people over in Ireland and in Dublin, and Phil. I don't know if you know Phil McKean, the guy that does he's at Dublin. Phil, is that how do you? I don't actually know how you pronounce his name. McKeown.
McKeown.
Do you know that name?
No,
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do with badminton anymore,
Don't you?
so I don't know any of the names.
He's going to come on because he's a techie. I met him
All right.
through. I met him through a few people. I just, you see names, don't you? I met him through Dave McGill, who's at Badminton Ireland, and Daniel McGee, who's obviously in Badminton Ireland a lot as well. And Phil McCune is there, and Phil does the AV. So he sets up the cameras and audio and the streaming services for Badminton Ireland. And I tell you that they've got it right. He's a great guy. He was showing me. I had a meeting with him last week on just a chat. I asked him a few questions, and he came on, and he was talking about how he sets up the courts, how he sets up audio, how he sets up the streaming, the data service they've got. They're all about wireless connections between the camera. It's amazing technology. So good.
Well, all I can say is thank God it wasn't around in my day.
Really? Apparently there's a camera on each court, and they're called. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called PTZ cameras. If you ever watch, I watch what's that program called about dating? First Dates. Did you ever watch that?
No.
First Dates. Yeah, sad as I am, sure. Anyway, there's a bar there, and also all the celebrity programs, all these kind of Big Brother and that kind of thing. They have cameras set up, and they're PTZ cameras. So they're called pan, tilt, zoom cameras, and they're robotically controlled from anywhere. So they can pan and they can turn, they can zoom. So if you're looking at a screen full of loads of screens, you can turn each individual one to go left and zoom in and do. Oh, it's amazing what they can do. But anyway, so he set them up in the courts, and they're streaming, and I tell you, Ireland has got it down. I mean, that guy has got it really, really clever. If you ever look at Badminton Ireland's YouTube channel, they post he's got some tremendous videos. Do you ever watch YouTube Badminton, Elaine?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
But Ireland, he shared a thing on Badminton Ireland the other day, and it was a tournament, and I think they held them quite regularly. And there's like all the families of the players on the back of the courts and cheering on. And I think it was one of them. He was telling me about the events that this new scoring system. Have you heard about this? The scoring system to 11. They're talking about making it 5 sets to 11.
Oh wow!
This is what it's been all over Facebook. It's been all over everywhere. This is what they're talking about doing. But they did that in Ireland. Apparently, it makes the games really fast, and apparently, I guess, a lot more exciting. They think for viewing. England did it for a while. They had the Badminton League, I think, and what they do.
That's right. I saw it. The Badminton Leagues. Yeah.
Well, Ireland they had a similar. They've run the scoring system, and did you see it? Did you see the pink shuttle?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was they had that as well. I can't remember what it was called. Phil told me what it was called. So anyway, so I'm just gonna ask your age. You don't need to tell me if you don't want to.
56.
56, good. And your home area is that are you Dublin? Dublin, sorry. Were you Dublin?
Dublin originally, yeah. And Adair now.
And do you have brothers or sisters?
I have 2 brothers and a sister.
And what's the age differences, Elaine?
I won't give my sister's age. So she's the oldest, but she's 5 years older than me.
I won't give you your age, but she's 5 years older than me. And your brothers?
My brother Connor was 60 a couple of days ago.
Cool. And who played badminton?
Connor.
Really? And were you very competitive with each other growing up when you started?
No, because I suppose we were all in different age group. I have a younger brother who's 2 years younger than me, so he's 55. Right. So we were always in, sort of different age groups. Yes. So no, we weren't. Maybe out in the back garden we might have.
As far as a club kind of thing, did you go to a club together? Or?
We started being coached by my dad in a small hall in a psychiatric hospital. So it was very creepy. It was horrible,
Weird.
but a great hall, just a little one court hall. And he used to take us there, and then it sort of progressed onto coaching with more people. And first club was St. Fintan's that I joined in Sutton.
So was your first experience of badminton being coached?
Yeah, in the
Really?
back garden probably.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't a club. It wasn't have loads of friends.
no, no,
Really?
no, no. It was just the four of us and my dad, and like I just went because the older two were
Yeah.
going, so we were all. I think it was more to give my mum a break, so we were all taken for a couple of hours once a week, and it just sort of started from there. I suppose it was just a gradual, just being coached how to, hold the racket, how to serve, footwork. But it was fun.
Yeah. Was he quite good like that? Did he coach other people as well?
He did. He coached mostly in clubs, but he never got paid for it. He always just did it for the love of the
For the
game.
love of the game.
Just to try and help people play the game. Basically, that's why he did it.
And
Yeah.
how's that rubbed on you? Do you coach or do you have kids that you've taught as well? Or
No, I did coach for a while. I did my level
did
one
you?
with Doyle O'Halloran, and I did some work with Badminton Ireland for a couple of years. But that sort of with the Celtic Tiger and the crash, it all sort of dried up.
Yeah.
And so then I did some in my little girl's school when she was in primary school, but then that was it. No,
You don't have that same thing that your dad had. That same kind of.
I find it very hard to break things down to explain sort of like the techniques.
Yeah.
So I knew then that I wasn't going to be, tactically I'd be fine, but not coaching. Whereas my sister is a brilliant coach. She's a full-time coach, and she's superb. She can break it all down and whatever, but no, I can't.
And does she? Don't you think it just takes time? I just think maybe you just rush in and try to teach the whole thing at once. When actually, when you think back, somebody maybe taught you what you should do with your feet for like a year, and then
I know.
how the racket was like 3 or 4 months, and you just want to go in and teach it all there. And it takes a certain type of person, doesn't it? I think.
It takes
Yeah,
patience.
yeah.
It does. I know when I was doing my level one with Donny, he was doing some sort of footwork and he was breaking it down how to coach it. And I was like, I don't know, was it a scissor kick or
Scissor
something?
kick, yeah.
And I was there sort of saying, I can't do that. And we went out for a knock up. And the next minute, Donny says, but Elaine, you're doing it. But he said, you don't realize you're doing it.
It's so instinctive.
But I couldn't break it down to explain it. So
I just
I knew then I wasn't going to be a
It
good
was
coach.
years of drills to learn that stuff, though. Scissor kick was something that was, you know, there's a move that I have to go from the tee to the back left hand corner of the court, which I was drilled into me from a young age to your left foot's forward, and then the left foot goes long step back, and then you hop, skip, and scissor kick forwards, right? I don't know if you watch that now, so I can't stop doing that now, right? But if you watch YouTube now, nobody does it. Have you seen that? Have you
No,
noticed that? Nobody does that anymore.
no. I suppose it was just the in thing at the time, the scissor kick,
Yeah, but
like the
it
jump
was that
smash.
step. It was the hop as well. It was the hop as
Yeah,
well. Nobody does that. I remember somebody saying to me, "This is the most efficient way to get from the tee to the back left-hand corner of the court. Hop, skip back, and you're on your forehand." But now
yeah.
nobody does it. Everybody just. I said, because I interviewed Duncan Grant, who's 27, and I said, Did you learn that hop skip?" He said, "No." He said, "If I want to go to the back left, I'll just run around it." I was like, "Right, okay." I was taught in a very police style way, I think, to do it. There was a way to do it, and that was it. That there was
Yeah,
weeks of shadow badminton, pointing corner to corner, side to side, back to
yeah,
back, right? But I think it still exists. Andy Cook, I don't know if you know Andy Cook. He's a traditional coach, and I think he would probably teach that technique.
yeah,
But I think the modern, yeah, there's a thing in Edinburgh called Edinburgh Badminton Academy, and they teach. I still have all those old techniques. I guess I'm a bit of a traditionalist, but the chap that runs it in Edinburgh would say, "Oh, you need to look at watch what you're watching because there's a few old techniques in there." And I think,
But I never backhand served. I still serve
Forehand.
forehand.
Do you still now?
Yeah, if I was to play now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never learned. I never did it.
Yeah. And were you a singles player or doubles player? Or mixed, or what do you think?
Well, all three. We had to play all three. So I think I played
Hold
singles.
on a minute. Hold on a minute. You just said we had to play all three. What do you mean you had to?
Well, everybody just did. Everybody, like all the kids, when we went in for tournaments, everybody played
Everything.
the three disciplines. So it wasn't until I'd say maybe 21 that I hated singles. So I gave it up.
Did you? And you?
Yeah. I was too lazy.
Yeah, it's hard work, singles, right?
It was hard work, and I just preferred having somebody on the court with me.
Yeah, you get better feeling from it. That's good. So that's good. So you all played, and do you all continue to play, or?
No, I finished at, I think when I moved here when I was 25, or 26, and Gareth finished. He played up to under 16, and then he finished. Connor was the one who kept playing. Yeah. And my sister gave up as well until she came back. She went to America and she came back then and she started coaching.
Why did you stop?
Why did I stop? Well, when I came here, there was no badminton club, and I played in a couple of just one-off tournaments with one of the local guys here. And then just, I suppose, then I got pregnant.
The standard wasn't good enough, and you felt it just.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was fun. I played a couple of, they're called Butterfield Cup, Brewster Cup, so they were sort of like county tournaments. But I got pregnant and then gave up because when I moved here, I got married.
Yes.
So.
And that's what life does to you, I suppose, isn't it? That's.
Yeah. After that, then I had nothing to do with anything or really anybody from badminton. So
did you take other sports or anything?
I tried golf.
It's a frustrating sport, isn't it?
But it was very slow. And also having to be nice to people for 3 hours wasn't really my bag.
Just somebody, inevitably, when you're playing golf, it's somebody you're thrown together with as well.
Oh, worst nightmare.
In 3 hours. Oh. My wife calls it a good walk spoiled. Like,
well, yeah, that was somebody's quote, all right.
Yeah, that's right. So what age when you first started playing? Back to the questions.
I actually don't know. I always had a racket.
Yeah.
So
like 5 and 6 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why did you stop? So your dad was the main influence for you starting playing, I suppose, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. He had a very prolific career.
What was your dad's name?
Chick Doyle.
Chick Doyle.
Yeah, well, JP Chick Doyle.
What's JP?
James Patrick, but he was called Chick.
Chick Doyle, everybody knows him. I'm going to be going away and Googling. I'm not very... You say...
Nobody knows. Nobody knows him as James.
There you are, they do now. Do you remember your first racket? Yeah, your first racket. Do you remember what it was?
My first racket was my dad's Max Ply wooden timber racket.
And so that was... Okay, so I'm quite interested in... First racket is always somebody's given you or whatever. Do you remember the first racket you chose that was yours?
No. I was always just handed a racket and said, off you go.
It sounds like you've had quite a strict upbringing with badminton.
Not really, no. It was probably a hand-me-down, or it was...
But did you not have a passion? Did you not have a passion to think, oh, come on, Dad, I want my own. Let me have an X. Let me have a whatever. Do you not have any... Do you not remember that at all, thinking...
No,
I want a new one. No, please give me a new one. Please, for Christmas, give me a new one.
I do remember getting a stainless steel one at some stage.
Good.
I don't know what
What
it
it was, but a
was.
stainless steel is what you. Yeah.
It was stainless
I
steel.
guess the step from the wood to stainless steel was a big step at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
so
yeah,
light.
yeah,
And the
yeah,
wooden one did it have that frame that I always think of flower presses. The wooden, the press that you get for the head to stop it
yeah, yeah,
warping. Did you have one of them?
yeah, yeah. Well, we had that. It had the racket had to go back into that every
Yeah.
time, and then my brother smashed it. So that was the end of my poor dad nearly cried.
He'd had it for years. What was it? So you gave
Castle,
me the name of your first club. What was it? So,
St. Finton's.
was it Fintons?
No, Tains. Finton. Yeah,
Finton.
yeah.
St. Finton. What was that? A school or something?
It was my brother's school.
What was it?
Yeah, the boys went to separate school to us. So
Oh,
yeah,
so you were at girls' school.
yeah.
Right. And did you play badminton at school there?
No, no. Although when the last 2 years of school, I set up a badminton club, and we had a couple of badminton teams in the school. So,
And you set it up.
but I
That
believe
was good.
yeah, yeah. So we just entered the school's competitions, and yeah, we did quite well
Was
actually.
there
Yeah.
quite a big network of schools competing in those then? Did most schools have a team?
No, because most of the schools didn't have big sports facilities.
Yeah.
So it was just really as the new schools came along, like community schools, and like when we played our league matches, we used to have to go to the local, say, Protestant hall and get the keys for there and play in there. Yeah,
And do you remember, did you have kind of access to badminton courts whenever you wanted to be growing up? Because your dad was so
yeah,
into badminton, you could go whenever you wanted to
yeah,
really get the court.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
We
And
did.
you always had,
Yeah, it was a psychiatric hospital, so it was really spooky.
yeah.
So when you drove up, it was like something from the
Sorry,
Hammer House
was
of
it a
Horrors.
literally a current, it was open and open for business, or was it an old one? Or
Well, it was open for business, but you couldn't get in. So the hall was sort of in between all these trees and everything. So we'd have to ring the bell, and this hand would just come out through a hole in the wall, hand out this big old key.
I've got such a vision. It's
Oh, it was unreal. It was just like something, I don't know, you'd see on it was the spookiest place.
I'm trying to think what's the film called with I absolutely love the film. What's it called? That's so frustrating. It's American. It's got Jack Nicholson in it.
Oh,
The
The Shining,
Shining.
one of
Oh
those.
my God, The Shining. That's the one. Yeah, that.
Yeah, but the hall was a beautiful old hall with a fabulous floor, and yeah, so that was the first place. But he always had the key for it. We were always, yeah, we could use
What was that
that.
called at Hull?
Hampstead Hall,
HAMP.
Pstead. I think it was a psychiatric hospital. I think it
Is
still is.
it? Wow. You
Mm.
definitely need to Google that. Do you remember the shuttles that you used when you first started? And kind of did you always have feathers because your dad, or
Always had
did you?
feathers, RSLs. Yeah.
RSL 2 RSL 2 shuttles. Yeah, good. And your dad was the coach, JP. Check.
hmm Yeah.
And was it once a week you got coached, or and also was
Um,
he your only coach? When did you ever get another coach?
yeah, we did. We had Dad, and then we started going to Whitehall Road, which was, say, the south side of the city. We were from the north
Right.
side, and Whitehall Road. We used to go to coaching there every Wednesday
Did you-
when maybe under 12.
And who coached that?
And Sue Peard, she was Sue and Frank Peard. She was Sue
All
Devlin.
right. And what was that like being coached by somebody else when you'd been coached by your dad for so long, and he taught
When she would have played with my dad, and
really,
Frank played with my dad,
really,
so it was more or less the
yeah,
same
quite a
techniques.
similar techniques. But there was
Yeah.
none of that. Dad would never do that, or dad would never do that, that kind of thing. Did that not?
No,
No.
no, 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 no,
He was
no.
obviously.
We always did what Dad told us.
Was he quite strict as a dad?
Not a bit, not a bit. No.
That's brilliant. And
Maybe he should
did you
have
ever
been.
compete with your brothers and sisters in games, singles and stuff like that? Did you ever play against each other?
Maybe half
Yeah.
court. but I was always beaten because I was the smallest. I was sort of like the runt of the litter. So all they had to do was push me out the back and I was screwed.
Yeah. But it makes you fight, doesn't it? I think you've obviously a certain type of person. You've got to be real determination in badminton. I quite like them. I've got a younger sister who's really short, and she was yeah, but it's made her strong. I mean, she plays now and she's strong. And
Yeah.
it's a common theme, isn't it? When somebody's got
Well, yeah, I think as well underage, there's so many people at different stages in their development. And, you could be playing with a girl your same age, but she's a couple of inches bigger than you or whatever. So they're always going to be stronger.
yeah, that's right. I think it's yeah. That's why I asked that question about who. I haven't come to that question yet. Who was the main competition growing up? Because there's always somebody a couple of years later that when you find somebody's been very good. There's always been it's an older brother or a best friend or somebody that's just a couple of years older, a couple of bit taller, a bit older, a bit more experienced, and that younger person eventually overtakes because they become so much stronger for their age.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy competing in tournaments and things? When you
Sometimes, yeah, I suppose so, but I didn't know anything else. So sometimes I found it stressful. I didn't like to be out on the court by
for
myself.
singles,
It just wasn't, and I think of the four of us, I was the one that was always sort of dragged along.
really,
Come on, Elaine, you're coming. But in the end, I did. When I sort of found my own sort of feet, and I did. Yeah, it was fun. We always had great fun. Any Irish tournaments were great
And
fun.
how was it with your dad? Obviously, he was an international player and national player and stuff like that, and traveling. He was away, I guess, playing and things when you were growing up. Was he there, or what was that like? How did you get about to tournaments and stuff?
No, my mum was great, but like back in Dad's day, there was I think my brother told me today, like he played for years, but he only played 35. He only got 35 caps for Ireland because back in those days they didn't have as many tournaments, so they didn't travel. There was a lot of the home tournaments, and like he won the Irish, Scottish, and Welsh Open singles in the one season.
Wow. What age was he then, Elaine?
I think he was 33 when he stopped playing.
And when he won those tournaments, do you remember what age he was? Would you give a rough idea?
Oh, I suppose he was in his 20s. He must have been in his 20s. Yeah. I don't ever remember seeing him play. So, he he always said it actually that we had a better chance for travel and to get more caps than, of course, there was no underage either. So I don't know, was he 19 when he started really playing well? So yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? So what was your favorite? Was it men's doubles or mixed doubles? Ladies doubles, I'm sorry.
Both. Yeah, both.
Yeah. You didn't have a preference.
Well, I suppose ladies probably.
What was your game like? Are you strong at the back, strong at the front? What do you think of your game?
Well, I am only 5'2", so strength wouldn't have been. I would say tactics probably.
Are you good at the net? Do you prefer being at the net or at the back?
Yeah, I was better at the net, probably half court, moving forward, getting in out of the way, as my brother used to say.
Say that again, getting what?
Getting in out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all he was short of doing was telling me to serve and get off the court. But I would say probably net play and moving forward, trying to get in. Yeah. So.
And what's your brothers like? What were they like? Were they very competitive with you? Did you ever play with them?
I played with both of them at different things. Garrett, the younger one, we would have played sort of because we were closer together. We would have played 1 or 2 years. So I would be, say, 15 and he would have been 13. So we would have played together under 15. And we did really well. And then my older brother, we would have maybe played league matches. I think maybe a couple of interpros. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Am I right in saying were you in Dublin at that time, all that time?
Oh yeah, yeah. I only moved to. I'm here. Actually, I'm here 30 years now this month.
Oh,
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't know what it's like now, but everybody tells me that the league. In fact, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to Mark Topping, and he was telling me that there's 70 clubs in Dublin.
I believe it. Yeah.
70
Yeah,
clubs.
It was a huge boom back in the
Was
80s
that?
and 90s of clubs because all these new sports halls were coming in.
Yeah.
And the next club then after St. Fintan's that I went to, it was a 4-court hall. So we had all 4 courts, which was unheard of.
Yeah, amazing. My brother lived in Mount Pleasant. I think he was Mount Pleasant Badminton Club. It was what he was a member of.
Yeah, that's a nice club. Yeah.
Mark Topping says, the first thing he said was, it's a nice club. They brush the hole once every day. I was like, is that how you define a good club? They brush the hole once a day. He said, yeah, that's it.
No dust on the court.
No dust, exactly. Let's see if there's any questions coming yet. Don't know if there's had any yet. Oh, look, we've had some questions. Hey, look at that. Can you see that?
Oh,
Can you read that?
I can. Yeah.
Nahatana Skip, she's a very good doubles and a mixed player. The Doyle family is Irish badminton royal. They are royalty. Pincer, underselling yourself, great talent and hence competitor. Chick was one of the loveliest guys. Loves these guys about one of the gentlemen of badminton. You read about it, Google him, there we are. I don't actually know who that is. There you are, that's nice.
I see something said about Elaine's best weapon on court was her cold stare.
Very good.
Yeah, that's probably true. Myself and Holly Connolly, we were well known for our stares.
Were you? 1 second.
We were.
Well, for getting the 1 second, I'll get the back. I'm going to get that back because I'm missing I'm missing the bottom of it. 1 second. I think I'm missing the bottom of it. I can't read it properly. My eyesight's not as good as yours. There we are. It's Kevin Stango. There we are. That's nice. That's good. Good. There we are. He's going. That's good. Main competition growing up.
There was a couple of girls. I would say Holly Lane, who I played doubles with.
All right. Yeah.
And Amanda Dunlop.
And what age were you then? And what age was?
We were all sort of the same age, so we would have come up under 15, under 18. Yeah.
It's amazing that you had such a passion and such a love of the sport that you could stop it. Does any of this kind of thing make you think of going back now? Or?
No.
Really? Really?
No.
How do you busy yourself now then?
I train, I run.
Do you?
I was doing high interval training for a while, but I stopped that then. When lockdown then just
I know it stops everything.
Stopped everything really.
It really has done as well. I'm quite lucky.
Yeah.
Is Adair quite a picturesque little place? Plenty of walks about. You can do that. That's nice.
Yeah. And there's I live about 1.5 miles outside the village, so there's loads of space. Country. It's on country roads. So I just pound the streets there. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And have you got kids at home or?
No, they're both gone. I have a son. He's 28, and I'm actually in his house. And
sorry, I'm disturbing your barbecue.
Yeah, they're all out the back. And so he has a house here in the village, and my daughter is 25, and she's living in Dublin.
Yeah, nice. Do you miss Dublin?
Yes, I did for a long time, but now probably not as much. I miss my family and my sister because we were great buddies, or art great buddies. But yeah,
she's in Dublin still.
Yeah, she's in Dublin.
Sorry, why did you go to Adair in the first place? Was it family? Was it your husband from there or what?
My husband was from here. Right. Yeah. And but he played badminton as well. So until he was about 19. So and then he gave it up. Yeah.
What's wrong with you two? Get yourself back in the badminton court. It's terrible. It's such a waste of talent. If not, yeah, was he? Did he coach as well or not? Did he coach?
No, no, he has nothing to do with that. He was he played hurling.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
That's right.
the time came that he had to decide which one he wanted to play. So he well the running thing is that I played mixed with him in the junior Europeans in Edinburgh.
Did you?
And then he gave up.
That's enough of that. It's
That was enough being mixed with me.
hurling for me all day long.
Yeah, I prefer to go out and get clattered by somebody.
I was chatting to somebody else who's into hurling, was it? I think it was Alan Macmillan, I think, is into hurling.
Oh, he plays shinty.
Shinty,
Yeah,
that's
he plays
right.
shinty. Mm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
And is your husband still heavily into that? Actively into hurling as well?
No, he was coaching for a long time, but he's taking a break now. So yeah. So
Well, you're obviously keeping yourself fit, which is all good. And you're obviously happy in what you do. But I think like my starting back again started with finding a club that I loved and finding, I started playing locally down here and the standard was okay. And I would come back from a night of 2 hours and I'd think, yeah, I had one good game and, I like to think a lot about badminton when I play it. And, just, you think, oh, I had that good game and that was okay, but the rest of it was rubbish. And then eventually I found a club in Edinburgh. And I just remember coming out and thinking, oh my God, every game was amazing. It was like every single game was, was one of them, was a real fight, a real battle, a real love for it. It wasn't social, it was all very competitive. And then I got into another club, which was from a lot of the same people, went to a different club on a different night in Edinburgh. And I went to that and I loved it again. And I've it's never stopped really, I suppose, since in the last 10 years since then. But I stopped for probably 10 years but the key thing was definitely finding an amazing club, an amazing group of people. And then somebody says, what are you doing on Thursday? What do you do on Thursday? You go on Tuesday just to try it. And then you say on a Thursday, what are you doing on Thursday? I said, well, nothing really. Well, we go to another one on Thursdays. Well, do you? And then before you know it, you're another night. And then before you know it, you're getting messages, especially now with social media, it's so easy to find. Especially you with your network of players and friends, you could easily get a four together and say, let's just go and get a call.
Not down here.
Couldn't you?
Not here. I'd have to go home to Dublin.
You couldn't get 4 people?
Yeah. No.
Really? Wow. Just you and your husband, and that would just cause a massive fight.
No. Been there.
Very good. So you don't play any clubs now? That's that question answered. Do you have a racket now?
I do, but there's no strings on it.
Well, there's a problem. That'd be why.
I actually had to buy a racket for the first time a few years ago when I was playing vets because I used to be sponsored by Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
So I never bought a racket.
Yeah.
So, when I was going back with Holly a few years ago, we said, we better try and buy a racket.
Did you buy another Carlton?
We bought them from Martin Evans, so I don't know what they were actually. We're trying to get a deal out of them if we buy 2.
They're so expensive now, aren't they? I think the last racket.
Oh, stop!
Oh,
yeah,
they're so
shocking.
That's so especially when you were spoiled with Carlton. But I think Carlton's changed quite a lot, hasn't it?
I've no clue. Yeah. We had a really nice man here back in the 80s, Brendan Quinn, who was with Dunlops and Carlton.
Yes.
And another woman, Miriam, and they were just great.
Yeah.
There was never any questions asked. Every season there was just nothing was signed, nothing was. It was just delivered. Your stuff is here.
Here's your T-shirt. Here's all that stuff.
Yeah.
That must have been a right luxury, isn't it? Things just arriving, and we've sent you this, but it was a different time, isn't it? Nowadays, it's all social media. You'll know everything that's coming. People communicate everything, don't you? Before you just get a box and a letter and say, "Here's a such and such," and think, "What a nice surprise that is!" It's like Christmas. That was good.
Yeah, it was great. So it was a bit of a shocker having to buy a racket.
Do you remember what your favourite racket you ever had was?
No.
Didn't you?
I just played with
Are you not into that? You're not into the gadgets,
no.
Are you not?
Listen, I don't even know the rules of badminton.
Oh, what about the scoring system? We played the new scoring. How was that? When you went to the vets with the scoring, what was that like?
That nearly killed me. The new scoring system nearly killed me. So one, I don't know the rules, and two, I have no idea of shuttles, and three, no idea of rackets. I just had no interest. So I just played with whatever they gave me, and that was
And
it.
who did the restraining? Did your dad do it?
No, well, my dad had a sports shop,
Oh, did he?
and so we used to just get into the sports shop. Yeah,
You were
that
spoiled.
was it.
You were spoiled. You basically you
Yeah,
had halls whenever you wanted them. You had rackets given to you. You had coaching given to you. Yeah,
yeah,
it was all there. Everything you needed. Yeah, it sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds really good.
We were so lucky.
Yeah. If you've ever now, so you still see mixed doubles. Yeah. Well, I do hope you get back to playing badminton again.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's a terrible waste.
If I get Peter Ferguson back, maybe.
Oh, really?
I played mixed with
Oh,
Peter.
did you? Oh, right. Really? Yeah. Was he a long-term partner?
Uh, no, because I played with Robert Taylor as well. So no, there was just a few different partners, and but Peter and myself played for a while,
Did you?
and then I think I finished up playing with Robert, and then Robert went to Australia, and I left Dublin, so
Yeah.
it was just a natural
And
finish.
did you get to travel a lot with badminton, Elaine?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was very lucky. I went to two Europeans, Helvetia Cup, underage Europeans. I know Gary was talking to you about Presbam, the first summer school, the EBU summer
Yes.
school, under 18. So yeah, we had great fun.
Yeah, good times. Is it good times, isn't it? And are you still? You did mention briefly um, that you still feel quite competitive. You
Shocking.
really.
Yeah.
Is it
We,
competitiveness? Do you think there was an element of frustration in yourself? You know, because you
uh,
can't not play for all those years and come back and be as good as you were, right? You know,
well, listen, it's like this in my house. We can't play board games
no, no, that's
because there's trouble.
yeah, yeah. I've got
So no matter who brings out what, it's just a general. No, we're not playing
that's
because there'll be
I think
tears.
that's a big family thing. I think that's a
Mm.
family thing. I've got three brothers and a sister, and the fights we used to have over Monopoly, and the one game that I fight with the wife, which we're not allowed out in this house, is Othello. Do you remember Othello?
No.
Oh, the black and white chips. Big circular board, you have black and white chips and they're all white, and then you put down a black one and you put a white one on the other side, and then the black one becomes white, and I just always lose at it, and I go mental for it. I go absolutely mental. So competitiveness is a given, yes. Okay, I'm gonna fit the
Yeah, and I've
so
two competitive children,
are they
so
very as well? Are they?
yeah.
And are they into badminton?
No, they John plays hurling,
Yes.
and so he played everything as a kid, and Amy was the same, but Amy is more of a singer than she is an athlete, and but very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly
There's
so.
nothing wrong with that, is there?
Um,
And so I'm gonna
yeah,
finish.
but
I'm gonna
no,
finish with this question. So I'm interested to know what you think about, because I don't know if I feel what is it you loved about badminton? What is it you love about badminton? Could you say that? What do you think? Because I feel like you've
um,
fallen out of love with it a little bit. What do you think about that?
no. I think maybe I just had enough, and but the one thing I do, and I still do love, is hearing the ping of a shuttlecock off the racket. You know, the first hit that you give it, and you know, especially if it's a really nice old hall, and there's a lovely sound to it, and it's a crisp and clear sound, and that's what I used to love.
Yeah.
I hated the routines, I hated the training, but put me out on the court to play, and yeah, loved
Did you
it.
have friends that you played with?
Oh yeah, yeah, and still
Yeah,
do.
do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. It sounds your younger years sounds quite strict and kind of yeah. I mean, that was the total opposite of me. I went to a club and I really to my way around a badminton court. It was, I'd played for probably about 5 or 6 years before I had any coaching, so I'd learned all the bad habits, and they're all. And
Yeah.
then later on, you just think, well, it's kind of you do. It's terrible, isn't it? You feel too late at 17, and then you get to 17, then it's 20, and there's a big problem now, even now, I think, where children get all the focus up to a certain age, and then, you know, everybody gets all the focus up to 20, something like that, and then, you know, they realise that you maybe at your limit, and you just kind of toss aside, and you think, you know, there's just nothing at that age group. I think Ireland is different. Actually, I think Ireland has got it better. I think there's a lot more progression.
Well, I think we had sort of like a small pool of players, because sometimes at the time that we played, badminton was considered a bit of an elitist sport, like tennis or hockey, and it was expensive.
Yes.
So, and there was no funding. There was very little, you know, and we certainly got no money for playing. Yeah. So a lot of the time it was the same. And Dublin was very strong, and Leinster was very strong. So a lot of the time it was the same kids at all the sessions.
Yeah.
So everybody knew everybody else. It was just like one big family, really. And the parents were all involved, and the parents ran the tournaments and ran the committees. Yeah, so it completely changed, I suppose.
So where did the money come from?
The senior tournaments.
Where did the money come from? It was all just, you know, there was no money in it. There was no real sponsorship other than rackets and things.
A certain amount of, well, my parents had to pay for everything.
That was it.
When we were underage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they paid for the gear, they paid for the tournaments, the hotels, the whatever, until you sort of got your sponsorship deal. But I mean, even when I was working, and we were playing in the English intercounties, Leinster played in the English intercounties, we used to have to give, I think it was something like £15 or £20 each per trip towards the expenses. Yeah. So it was an expensive sport back then, you know, 70s, 80s.
Yeah, it's obviously different now, but I certainly hear a lot of national players that still have to work, you know, as well as play badminton, as well as be coached. And I think in England they're better sorted. And I'm quite interested. I'm in sales myself, and I'm quite interested in, you know, I've had conversations with Alan Martin about commercializing it, you know, making it more somebody selling, really. I think somebody needs to sell the sport. Somebody needs to sell players. They need to sell, you know, the benefit of it. You know, it's real, you know, to a more kind of local businesses, you know, that kind of thing. There are a couple of instances of players that I know who are sponsored by commercial businesses, and I think it's a great thing. You know, a few £100 is nothing to a business. Where to an individual that's playing badminton, it's a fortune. And there must be cases where people say, you know, even from your experience, saying, oh, I'd love to go and play in Poland, I'd love to go and play in Finland, but because you've got to pay for it yourself, well, you don't have money, so you can't go. It's just incredible, isn't it? The thought of that.
Yeah. So you never paid to go and play in a tournament. So the only tournaments that you went to were if you were sent by the branch or who at Badminton Ireland, or the BUI as it was at the time. But individually, you wouldn't have gone to tournaments.
You wouldn't,
no.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much. I shall let you get back to your barbecue. Everybody's in the garden waiting for you. Are they watching it live?
No.
Well, maybe they'll catch it later. Elaine, you've got to shout. And you said at the beginning of this, you said to me, in fact, you said to me yesterday, Martin, I've got a terrible memory. I don't remember anything. You said to me yesterday, and look what I've written down, everything you've told me, and it's incredible. It's incredible. But what you must do is you must watch it back and learn again. So, probably not. It's been lovely to meet you, Elaine. Thank you.
Okay,
enjoy your barbecue. I really enjoyed that.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much, Elaine Fitzgibbon. What a great interview for a Monday afternoon. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you soon. Please subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/the/talk badminton, and have a look for live videos and notifications. And please follow us at twitch.com/talk badminton. You can hear the podcast of all of my recordings on Spotify and Anchor.com, which is and most podcast services being Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and Anchor. So most podcast service providers are there. And if you need to email me, please drop me a line on talkbadders@gmail.com. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll speak again soon. Thanks for your time.